Hello everyone, my name is Chris and welcome to another installment in the Motive Quick Start Guide tutorials. Today I'm going to be talking about the timeline pane. So I've got my main volume set up and all calibrated, and I encourage you to use your own volume. I'm not going to be doing any specific data manipulation, so you can follow along. I encourage you to throw down some of your own markers and see what's going on for yourself. But anyway, let's go into the timeline. You can use it with this button, or you can just go to View and then Timeline. So right now I'm in live mode, and I'll talk about live and edit mode in a second here. So in live mode, I have the option to record the type of data right here. So if I just want to record in 2D, name a new take 2D. I'm just going to be recording the 2D data. So let's hit the record button. It's going to do some recording, a couple seconds there. And here's my take right here, 2D data. So let's say I want to record in 3D. Let's name a take 3D. You can just click this button right here, start recording, and now it's going to be recording in 2D and 3D data, right over here. If you want, sometimes what I find useful is setting this delay. So if I set it to maybe like 2 seconds, it will have a delay before it starts recording. So delay, start recording. It's going to have a little timer, and then it'll start recording. Another really useful feature that kind of works in conjunction with the project pane is that you can just, let's see, let me open Notepad. Let's say I want to move in a bunch of take files. So I got like a run take file, walk, jump, and roll. So I can just copy this from any text editor or like an Excel spreadsheet, just copy it, go over here and press Control V, and then it'll put these take files right in the session that I'm working in. So I've got this run. Let me start recording. There you go. My markers, look at them run. And then the project pane will just automatically go down this line. So you can just keep hitting this record button, and each time you do, it's going to record to the next take down the line. Let me turn my delay off. So there we go, we're recording our walk. Let's record. And let's say I didn't really like that specific take. Maybe let's try it again. Hit this again button, and it'll add a little numeric identifier right here, so we can record that again. And maybe that one wasn't so good. Let's just do that one more time. It's going to add this little identifier again, just going to keep incrementing it. Hit record, and that's the one I like. So then it's just going to move on to the next take. Record our jump, and then let's do a little recording of our roll. And if you don't have anything specified in here and you just start recording, it's just going to record a take with a little timestamp right here. You can see that. All right, so now we got a lot of take files. We got one in 2D, got a bunch in 2D and 3D. So if you double click on any of these, it's going to go straight into the edit mode. And you can switch between live and edit mode just with these buttons right here. Or you can just use the tilde on your keyboard, it's a little hotkey. So if you switch to edit from live, it's just going to go to the last take you edited. So if I'm in live mode and I start doing like another recording and I want to go right into edit mode, I can double click on it, or if I just go to edit, it's going to go to the last take that I was editing. All right, so I'm in edit mode and I'm going to be editing this run take right here. See, I'm in edit mode with this little blue icon. It means I'm editing that take. So for playback, little hotkey, you can press the space bar and it's going to play back all of the data on your timeline. You can also grab this and scrub along the timeline for the current frame. And then let me open the editor, zoom in on my markers. So in 2D mode, there's not going to be marker data for the graphs, but if we go into 3D mode, and then we select this, this is going to show us our marker data. Let me just select one of them, and these markers aren't moving, so the X, Y, and Z coordinates are just going to be constant. But if we zoom in our range, See, right now we're at 5.2 meters to negative 5.2 meters. You can click and hold the right mouse button, then drag upwards, and you can see this range is decreasing. So I'm zooming in. Now we're getting really small, down to the millimeters. We're at like 0.13 millimeters, and now we can start to see some noise in the markers. So bouncing around between, a couple hundredths of a millimeter. And we can see these moving around. Sometimes this data gets a little bit out of your range. And what I find helpful is this button right here, auto scale the graph, and it will just scale the graph so that all of your marker data fits in this timeline. So now let's say I want to play back a specific range. You can see right now I've already kind of done it accidentally, but if you hold the right mouse button, and then you drag the timeline horizontally, it's going to zoom in the play range. You can also do this with the scroll wheel, it does the same thing. And what the play range is it's basically the range at which the take is going to play. So let me zoom it in to maybe like 100 frames, and then it's just going to loop back and forth between this play range. And you can see the specific frames right here. So let's say I want my ending frame to be, I don't know, something like maybe 400. So that's my ending frame. So now it's going to loop between this 236 frame and this 400 frame. So in the editor on the timeline, you can also make these selections. And this I'll get into during the editing video on 3D data. But basically, if you just click the left mouse button and then hold, you can make a selection. So I'm just clicking, holding, dragging, and then releasing my click when I've made my selection on a specific frame. And then you can move these sliders around to get a more precise selection. And this is different than the play range. This is a selection on the timeline, and the play range are these frames right here. And then one more useful thing is that if you want to shorten a take, so let's say I want this take to be, if I want this take to be between 236 and the 400th frame, and that's all I want in this take, you can go up to Edit, and then trim current take. And what this is going to do is it's going to trim the take within this play range. So we can trim the current take. And then it's going to cut the take so that now all the data I have is just between these frames. And this will be more useful when dealing with larger files. Let's say you have, a 30-minute take and you only want, 2 minutes of data. You can trim this down and then export this. And what's really good is that even though you've trimmed this data, Motiv still keeps an archive of the full original take. So I have all of my frames still in this same take. All right, that's all that I have time for today. There are lots of features in this timeline pane, lots of other buttons that I can't get into in this video, but there's all kinds of documentation on the wiki. So go ahead and check that out if you have more questions. And as always, thanks for choosing OptiTrack.